Namaste. Always remember, Buddha is a stage of no mind, not a psychic mind. So whenever the mind is psychic, there is trouble. And in this podcast, I have talked briefly on the conjunctions that signify a psychic mind. And in addition to that, I have shared two beautiful stories. They are very insightful. And if you are on the path, you will definitely resonate with it. So let's begin. A psychic mind is a double-edged sword. If you can put a good cause, then it may prove to be a positive outcome. Else, generally, a psychic mind is a self-destructive. Rahu conjunction Moon is the most prominent sign of a psychic mind, especially if there is no positive aspect to it. In general, when Rahu is with Moon and is in the 8th and 12th house, then definitely the person has a psychic mind. Sun, Moon, Mercury conjunction is also a sign of a psychic mind, because the mind, the Moon, is so much impacted by the powerful Sun and the ever chattering Mercury. So the mind is always restless, and a psychic mind is always going through many sufferings and many miseries in life. Primarily, suffering is always mental. Always remember this. Nisargadatta Maharaj specifically mentions about this, that the pain is physical but the suffering is mental. Beyond the mind, there is no suffering. Pain is essential for the survival of the body, but none compels you to suffer. Suffering is due entirely to clinging or resisting. It is a sign of our unwillingness to move on, to flow with life. Retrograde Mercury in conjunction with Moon is also a perfect sign of a psychic mind. Retrograde Venus with Moon and along with the retrograde Mars is also a sign of a psychic mind. Such a person gets into sex, thinks a lot about sex, and basically this is not a positive sign as far as the mind is concerned. Retrograde Mercury with Moon is also a sign of a psychic mind. Basically, whenever a retrograde Mercury is with Moon, or whenever Rahu is with Moon, or whenever Moon is with the Sun, which in fact is a sign that the child has born on a Amavasya day, on a no moon day. These all are signs of a psychic person. I will be sharing a few incidents that happened in my life when I came across certain psychic people. Once it happened when I was in college, a classmate, a young girl, had come up with me for attending a religious function in a very ancient temple. Incidentally, outside the temple was a street vendor, and he was an old man selling garlands and coconuts to devotees visiting the temple. And he was a close friend of mine. He must be in 50s and I must be in my 20s. But I always have had old friends, wise friends, and they somehow seem to be drawn towards me. And so this old man watched the young girl accompanying me, and the next day, when I went alone to meet him, he said, "That girl looks psychic to me." I was shocked because he never used to be so blunt and straight, but he was right. That girl was indeed a psychic person. Her moon was in conjunction with Sun and Mercury, and her ascendant lord was in the 12th house with retrograde Venus. Time passed by, and after a decade, when I met her accidentally, I got to know that she had 3 divorces, 4 relationships, and now she was suffering from psychic attacks and insomnia. I remember that old man, he must be something, and he was also very fond of me, just the way many are. Once it happened, I was studying in 11th grade. The classroom was packed, the class teacher was teaching, when suddenly the school peon came and said, "Madam, someone has come to meet Aditya Tamhankar. He says it is urgent." The teacher said, "I can't let Aditya leave the classroom. Ask the man to wait for some time." The peon stepped ahead and whispered something in the teacher's ear. The teacher's face became pale white, as if she was trembling with fear. She said, "Okay, I allow Aditya to leave. Aditya, you can go and meet the man." I was wondering who could have come to meet me, because my father had expired long back when I was 14, and my mother had expired when I was 4 years old. So who must have come to meet me? I just left the classroom and strolled outside the school gate just to see who has come to meet me. And there was this man, 6 feet tall, heavy bodybuilder. He was the local don of that locality, and he rushed towards me and said, "I know you are an astrologer, and I have heard a lot about you from your classmates." I wondered, how come I became so famous? It was true that I was studying astrology and also predicting at that point of time, but I never knew that my predictions would become so popular that a local don has come to seek my guidance, my consultation, and I was just 20 at that time. Standing on that crowded street, I looked into his chart that he had brought, and it was a matter of love relationship. I said to him, "Bhai, love matter hai. Seems you are in love." The Don or Bhai quickly responded, smiling, Yes, you said it right. I am in love." The Don was in love with a woman. He said, "I will do anything but you tell me whether she will be my wife." I could look into his eyes. He was in love, but he also was a psychic. His Mercury was retrograde, and so was his Venus. I said to him, "You want to hear the truth?" He said, "Yes, I have come all the way just to hear the truth from you. Don't worry, just tell me the truth." I said, "You will never be able to marry this woman, but you can have a relationship. Marriage is not a good choice for you. Never marry in life." The Don became emotional. Bhai became emotional. But somehow he controlled his emotions and said, "Thank you. I will remember your message. And if you face any problem with anyone, you can always contact me." And then he left, never to be seen again. I left for my classroom. Already I had skipped one classroom session. I never had to contact that Don. But wheresoever he is, he must be in a good state if he would have listened to my message and remained unmarried. It is true that pressure from society and parents come. They all keep saying, get married, but marriage is not the only choice. Time has come when marriages are no more mandatory and couples can live together without marrying. As long as you live as a couple without marrying, your 5th house and 11th house is active. The moment you get married, 7th house and 1st house gets activated. So if the 7th house is not positive or 7th lord is not positive, then avoid marriage and embrace a live-in relationship. That way, love will continue to blossom within you and your partner. You will remain lovebirds. Always remember, marriage is not the only choice. Love is enough. As long as you are in love with each other, it is more than enough. Many married couples feel that the love that was in abundance before marriage has started fading away. This is because 5th is the house of love affairs, and the moment a love affair changes into a marriage, the 7th house takes over, and the 7th is a union, a deal. A marriage is a legal deal, isn't it? That is why when you no more can remain in a marriage, you have to first break the deal, legally, to which the world calls divorce. But a relationship has no legalities involved. You can have multiple breakups, yet nobody is going to address you as a divorcee. Every coin has two sides. Relationship has its good and bad sides, while marriage also has its good and bad sides. Someday I will share more on this. For now, it is necessary to remember that psychicness is not always bad. It can be a great asset if the conjunction that I mentioned has a positive aspect of Jupiter. Then a good psychologist is born. A good hypnosis expert is born. A good magician is born. Still, if you ask me, then those who have been following me for many years will understand that good or bad, psychic mind is a poor substitute to a normal mind that can be easily turned inwards. Maturity comes faster to a normal mind than to a psychic mind. Reminds me of an incident that happened in the omnipresence of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. A cat ate the squirrel. However, her small infant kids, the baby squirrels, were somehow able to escape from the cat's dangerous claws. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi was observing closely. He quickly put those baby squirrels in a small cage so that they can be protected until they mature, until they grow up. Bhagavan then turned to his devotees and disciples and calmly said, "These poor little squirrels do not have the maturity to know the dangers of the outside world. That if it goes out, the cat will make a meal of them. When they get that maturity, they will go hide inside by themselves. Until they get the maturity, we have to keep putting them inside." It is the same thing with our mind. Our mind does not know that if it goes to the outside world, there is nothing but suffering. It keeps running out in ignorance. When it gets the maturity, it will go inside by itself. Until then, it is our job to put it inside with effort, which we do in meditation. How beautiful and with such a simple example, the divine compassionate master revealed the significance of meditation. Deeply touched by His Holiness Bhagwan Raman Maharshi. The whole purpose of meditation is to overcome the monkey mind. And so on top of that, if one has a psychic mind, then it becomes more difficult for the person to go beyond the mind. Any qualities related to the mind, powerful mind, psychic mind, strong mind, makes no sense, especially when it comes to embarking on the spiritual journey. Spiritual journey begins when you start moving beyond the mind. One thing has to be remembered. The mind is the world, and going beyond the mind is the beginning of God. And so when you ask about psychic mind, or anybody asks the same question, it simply means that the person is too much caught up in his or her mind, which is not a good sign if you really want to progress spiritually. Reminds me of a story. Once it happened, a man came to meet the master, Lao Tzu, and said, "My master is a great psychic man. What do you say about your master? What can your master do? What miracles can he perform?" Lao Tzu smiled and asked, "What miracles your master has been doing? Please tell me." The man said, "One day he told me to go to the other bank of the river, and I stood there with a piece of paper in my hand. The river was very wide, almost 1 mile. He was standing on the other side of the river, and from there he started writing with a fountain pen, and the writing came on my paper. This I have seen. I am a witness. What can your master do?" Lao Tzu said, "My master does greater miracles than this. This is nothing. When he is hungry, he eats. When he is sleepy, he goes to sleep." The man said, "What are you talking about? You call these miracles? Everybody is doing that." Lao Tzu said, "Nobody is doing that. When you sleep, you do 1,001 things. When you eat, you think 1,001 things. When my master sleeps, he simply sleeps. No tossing, no turning, not even a dream. He simply sleeps. He is totally in sleep. Only sleep exists in that moment, nothing else. And when he feels hungry, he eats. He is always wherever he is. He lives moment to moment. He is always in the present moment." The man was puzzled. He said, "I cannot see yet what there is in this." Lao Tzu said, "But this is the miracle, the greatest miracle. To be in the present moment 100% is indeed the greatest miracle. When you are here and now, not jumping ahead, the miracle has happened. To be in the moment is the miracle." What is so great about writing from one bank of the river to the other bank? What is the point? A psychic takes great interest in such plays, while a Buddha, a Jesus, a Mahavira will never waste their time in such plays of the mind. They are the masters, the real masters. It is said that a man went to Ramakrishna Paramhans. Ramakrishna Paramhans was the guru of Swami Vivekananda. And the man said to Ramakrishna, "My master is a great man. He can walk on water." Ramakrishna said, "That is foolishness. I can just pay 2 paisa, that is 2 cents, to the ferryman, and he can take me to the other side of the river. How many years your master had practiced to perform such a miracle? The man said, 18 years. And Ramakrishna laughed and said, this is too much. Just 2 cents is the value of this. Your master is a fool. Go and tell him that he should not waste his life this way. Make him aware it can be done so easily. And this is so significant. This is how all the psychic men and women spend their life, in fancies of doing such trivial miracles, when the real miracle is to be here now. Always remember, existence knows nothing of future and nothing of past. It knows only the present moment. Now is the only time, and here is the only space. A psychic mind is a poor mind. It cannot understand the simplicity of life. It cannot understand that God is simple, truth is simple. The psychic master spent 18 years just to perform the miracle of walking on water. Isn't that stupidity? And we have many such stupid people among us who miss the point, and that is how they go on missing life. What can be done in just 2 cents? The psychic mind spends 18 years for it. A psychic mind is a fast mind, and a fast mind is a sick mind. A mind that is fast is sick. A mind that is slow is sound. A mind that is still is divine, says Avatar Meher Baba. A man or a woman comes in this human world with a psychic mind because in their past births they have been in the same state of mind, a psychic mind. But you can stop this unending cycle of births and rebirths of psychic mind when you start turning inwards, when you start following the word of the master, when you take to meditations. It is a slow process because you have done much damage to your mind from many past births. It is going to take time. Good things always take time, my fellows. Good things always take time. The larger question is whether you are willing to jump within, whether you are willing to start meditating every day, and whether you are willing to fight back the many temptations that your psychic mind brings along. If you are, then this birth can be the turning point of your life. Many times it happens, you are in search of someone or something, and you end up meeting something that is far more beautiful than what you were searching for. The Divine Master Neem Karoli Baba says, often one goes for one thing and finds another. Always remember, all miracles and all psychic mind propagandas are ego trips. There is no truth in it. Ramakrishna Paramahans used to say, all miracles are ego trips. And this is so true, my fellows. Only my few close followers can relate to this ultimate truth that Ramakrishna so compassionately shares with us. Always remember, a real man of religion is a miracle, and his miracle is very subtle. The real miracle starts happening when you start asking yourself the question, who am I? Who am I? Many don't even come to realize the significance of this question. Your spiritual journey begins only when you start asking yourself, who am I? Paramahamsa Yogananda says it is an insult to yourself to be born, live and die without knowing the answer to the mystery of why you were sent here as a human being in the first place. Retrograde Mercury, Moon with Rahu, Moon with Sun, Moon with retrograde Mercury, these and many such conjunctions that has no aspect from the benevolent Jupiter are a sign of psychic mind. But with consistent efforts, by turning inwards, by spending quality time with yourself, by meditating every day, by chanting the name of the Lord, you can overcome this psychic mind. There is always 1% space left by God. 99% astrology can be accurate, but 1% is the space that is specifically left for you to make a positive change within yourself. Because when you change, only then will your destiny change for good. The Sufi saint Rumi says, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself." Always believe in the power of possibility. Everything is possible. The larger question is, are you ready? Meditate. Turn inwards. Blessings to all my followers. Stay connected and stay blessed. Jai Shri Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.